Geechee big bass drum, play the second line. All on that Mardi Gras day. Well, a wild magnolias from second.
I haven't talked to Scott Sidwell in a while, but I got to believe if there's any chance he's making that trip down for baseball to come home. The Dons coming to play the Green Wave, Tulane season opener in baseball. We'll get into the baseball season momentarily, which is underway in force, but let's first take a look at the college basketball update and the headlines from this past week. LSU is now 18-7, 7-5 in the SEC. Bitter loss to Kentucky in a game they let get away, and then a big win at Tennessee by 18 in a game that really wasn't close. Then they're at A&M. That's a huge game, and then against Florida on Saturday. So a big week for the Tigers. Tulane now 14-10, 5-7 in the American Conference off of a huge win at Cincinnati. This Thursday, they'll play Central Florida, and then Sunday, go to the defending national champions in UConn. UNO 7-13, 3-8 in the Southland. They beat McNeese last week, so they got a winning conference. And tonight at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and then Saturday against Northwestern State. Let's start with the Tulane Green Wave of Ed Conroy, because here it is against Cincinnati, and the Green Wave here with a big dunk to tie the game with 33 seconds left. But then it looks like the Bearcats have stole the win right here, and they score with 4.1 seconds left, but it's not over. Jonathan Stark, dribble, drive, shoot. The bank is open. He scores. Tulane wins in improbable fashion at the buzzer, 50-49 over Cincinnati. Great win for the Green Wave. Bitter loss for the Bearcats, and Tulane's been close on many occasions. They started well this year in conference, then really the talent caught up with them, but now here's a big win, and now they got a good chance to beat Central Florida. So Brian, as we've said all year long, Ed Conroy's doing a good job. The record might not reflect it because they played a tough schedule and are a better conference, but they're an improved team, and he's done a very nice job.
He has, and they have, and that's a great win for them. You know what, the Bearcats left too much time on the clock, I think, is what happened there. But, you know, this is a post-tournament team, or post-season team for sure. And they've got a chance to go 9-9 in the American Athletic Conference, which is a good first season in that conference for Ed. They got to go 4-2, but if you look at the schedule, they can certainly do it.
I'll tell you what, Oscar Robertson used to do that a whole lot when he was playing, when he was playing for Cincinnati. But if Tulane get 3 more wins, they'll have a great season, get into the NIT, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I think the NIT is a realistic goal, and it's one that would be another measure of success and a measure of progress for the Tulane program. They'll have Malik Morgan coming in next year to help out. They need a little bit more firepower, and they'll hopefully get some there. LSU has firepower. And boy, they had a narrow miss against Kentucky in a game that they had a 21-2 run, came back, had the lead, and let it get away, and could not convert at the buzzer, but then came back with a big win over Tennessee. So now 18-7, 7-5 in the league, Brian. Good response against Tennessee, but now comes a big game against Texas A&M on the road. They blew the game against A&M at home, at a double-figure lead in the second half, and blew the game against a team that's ahead of them in the RPI. So this is a huge game against Billy Kennedy's team coming up.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you what, Kenny, they rebounded nicely against Tennessee, went and blew the Vols out on the road, which was a big win. And that showed to me that obviously Jones has their attention. And, you know, there was no hangover from that UK loss. That was a horrible loss. You know, you got a chance to beat the #1 team. Those chances don't happen very often. Out of bounds play just did not ever take root, and Hornsby throws up a 3 at the buzzer, almost, but not quite enough. They've got 3 important games coming up with their final 6. A&M, as Kenny mentioned, Ole Miss at home, and then they close out the regular season at Arkansas, and that could be, I don't know, that could be for the 2nd seed, maybe 3 seed, so we'll see.
They finally benched Gray. They're playing Quarterman, and they're playing Jalen Patterson, Ricky, and I think that's the right move by Johnny Jones. Get your best players on the floor more.
Yeah, get your best player on the floor, but then, you know, you can't look over Florida neither. I mean, they got a great coach, and, you know, he's been there for 19 years over there, so, you know, they got their hands got their work cut out for them.
Right.
All right, so now we turn our attention to college baseball. Speaking of LSU and Tulane, it was a great opening weekend for both. The Tigers swept at home against Kansas this week. They got Nicholls State, who won 2 out of 3 themselves against Stony Brook. Remember Stony Brook? And then they've got an ACC team coming in this weekend in Boston College. ACC is a great league. Tulane, big opening weekend. They won 2 out of 3 at Malibu against a very good Pepperdine squad. Could have easily been 3. More on that in a moment. They've got Southeastern in a really good matchup this week at Alumni Field. And then, as mentioned, San Francisco coming in for their home openers this weekend. UNO swept at South Alabama, and they've got Southern Mississippi at Pete Taylor Field. And then Friday through Sunday, they will play in the Major League Baseball Urban Youth Invitational at both Maestri Field and at Wesley Barrow. All right, highlights. The LSU Tigers getting their season underway on Friday night. Jared Poche took to the mound, and the Tigers get it going as they take the early lead. Christian Aya puts them on top here against Kansas, and Jared Poche was good on the mound for the Tigers. Wants to be the guy that takes Nola's place on Friday night. He certainly pitched like it in the opener. And then Cade Civic with a big bomb. That's what you want from your boppers. Get one out of the park. 3-run mass for Civic, and the Tigers emerge victorious and win all 3 games. So again, we don't know how good Kansas is coming from the cold. We'll find out ultimately, but a good start for the Tigers, Brian. But certainly what you're looking for, the pitching overall was very good. Defense other than Sunday was good. And on Sunday, they hit the ball better. A big inning in the 6th with a bunch of singles.
Yeah, I agree. Pitching is going to carry Maneri's team as far as it goes this year, as it generally does. And that lively ball, we'll see how that is going to play forth as the Tigers go forth. But, you know, it's a great start, 3-0.
And Ricky, when you have an outfield where 3 guys can run like the wind, it's hard to get a ball down. LSU's outfield defense, I think, is the best in the United States. It's hard to get a ball down against 3 guys that can fly.
And I'll tell you what, I like to see them because over the years that, you know, a lot of these guys end up in the major league. So that's why I like to go look at LSU guys.
Well, they have a really good baseball team again, and they started off that way, and we'll see if they can continue it. As for the Tulane Green Wave, it's a new era. No Rick Jones. David Pierce, the new coach, and they were this close to a sweep. I mean, it was that close, and here it was. 9th inning, bottom of the 9th, and a 1-0 lead for Tulane. A 2-out, 2-run walk-off home run for the Waves of Pepperdine, not to be confused with the Wave of Tulane. And Pepperdine, on the beautiful setting out there in Malibu, gets the final game, but still Tulane wins 2 out of 3 against a traditional power on the West Coast, and a team that was, 1 inning away from the College World Series in Pepperdine last year. Really good start for the Green Wave, Brian.
They waved bye-bye to that ball on the way out of town. No, you know what, David Pierce, they needed to change there. Tulane is a tournament team, needs to be a tournament team, and it's good.
Right, that ball went down the pipe. It never did move. That ball would have dropped a little bit. It would have been a strikeout.
Aren't you envious looking at the sun, at the trees?
Oh, beautiful, huh?
Man.
Malibu, the Pacific Ocean. I mean, come on. What a way to start the season. If Pepperdine recruits you, I don't care who else is recruiting you. You sign. Back in just a moment to put a wrap on things on SportsNOLAtv.